So all I can say is it's about time. This man who has been scaring the hell out of people for the last, what, 4 decades, finally gets a star on the Walk of Fame. Now, there are some characters that might fade into obscurity and people might forget, but this man, he is Freddy Krueger. There's no one else who could. The Jackie Earl Haley tried to do it in that remake. That was fucking terrible. Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger. He embodies Freddy. He knows Freddy. Even when he's not trying to be scary, it's just like that Freddy part of him is just always there because he's played him for so long. But this man who's been acting since like 1974, he's done several horror movies, obviously, but his Nightmare on Elm Street role is his most known and well known. And to be an icon like that, to the point where people all over the world, even 10, 50 years from now, 10, 20, 30, 100 years from now, people are still going to know who Freddy Krueger is. It's like Mickey Mouse or Mario. You have characters that just withstand the test of time. Some characters just kind of fade. But Freddy Krueger is one of those characters that, even if there's other incarnations of him, like, Jackie Earl Haley's version of him, which was fucking terrible. Seriously, don't watch that movie. It fucking sucks. Go watch the original. Even if there are other actors who portray Freddy, that character of Freddy is always going to be around. And it's thanks to Robert Englund. He was the original Freddy. He was there in 1984. He was Freddy. All the way up until what? Let's see. Freddy vs. Jason. I think that was like his last. He might have done something after that, but also Freddy vs. Jason is free on YouTube right now, and they do the stupidest censorship. Like, they're censoring the words like fucker or something like that. Like, entire scenes might be cut because of the language, like with Jason coming out into the cornfield and there's the two guys drinking, and the one fat guy says something about it's not a costume party, and he's like, why don't you go find a pig to fuck? They cut that part out. They cut it out, but then all the violence they still show. I'm like, what kind of fucking stupid shit is this? Also, at the end of the movie with Kelly Rowland's character, I forget, I think her name's Kia. Her character comes out and she yells for Freddy, and Freddy turns around, and it's it's a little racist, but it's a great line because it's Freddy. He turns around, he's like, dark meat. But they cut that out. I'm like, what the fuck is this? How are you gonna have a nightmare on, like a Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Freddy vs. Jason on here and censor the fuck out of it? It's so fucking stupid. But Nightmare on Elm Street star Robert Englund, who was honored with his Hollywood star appropriately on this Halloween Friday, All Hallows Eve. He was, the man, the myth, the legend. It's a shame Wes Craven wasn't here to see this, because I don't think he ever would have thought that any of his characters or his actors would end up on the Walk of Fame. The 78-year-old theatrically trained actor may be best known for his menacing portrayal of Freddy Krueger, but he has also appeared in over 80 films, multiple television series, and countless guest star roles. Yeah, but he's known for Freddy. Also, I love the fact that Heather Langenkamp was there. She was the one who played Nancy, and she gave a really great speech talking about him and his dedication to the role, how he wouldn't stop rehearsing his lines until basically they said, roll, in action, that he would just kind of keep rehearsing it just to make sure you got it right. Um, but I like the fact that she was there. She got a chance because she was in what? Technically three movies. She's in two actual movies, and then there was the Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is kind of like, it's a good movie, but it's not like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It's, we're following the actual actors, so it's not Freddy Krueger, it's Robert Englund, it's not Nancy, it's Heather Langenkamp. You have Wes Craven in there, and basically he tells that, you know after Story dies, you still like you have people who are kind of like the keeper of stories and certain characters, and Freddy has been told so much that it's kind of given him a real life, and he's trying to kind of like come into our world, but he needs to get through Nancy or Heather in order to do that, because Heather is the one, or Nancy's the one rather, in the movie who defeated him. So in order for him to emerge into the real world, he has to go through Heather, who is like the gatekeeper. Obviously, Freddy doesn't know she's just a normal person. She's not actually Heather. But it's a cool movie if you haven't seen it. So she's been in like three of them. But yeah, like the freaking life this guy had. Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in Oakland. His first role, Buster Billy. Wes Craven took a chance on Englund as he auditioned for his 1984 release horror movie. He had intended to cast a bulky stuntman to portray Freddy Krueger, and I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad he didn't. Robert Englund, I think he's like what, 6'1", 6'2", something like that. So he's a tall guy. So even though he's not, he's still tall enough to where he's menacing. Actually, let me look at it. Let me see how tall he actually is. Okay, so apparently he's only like 5'10", 5'11". I thought he was taller than that. But compared to like Jackie Earle Haley, who played Freddy, who's only like 5'5", yeah, you have a 5'10", 5'11", almost 6-foot male compared to, the women in the movie. Average woman size is what, 5'5", 5'6". So yeah, he's still, taller than them. So he still has that menacing feeling, as opposed to like Jackie Earle Haley, who's like the same size as an average female. So I'm glad they didn't go with some because that's not what Freddy is. He's not about brute strength and this and that. He prefers torture. He prefers fucking with his victims before he kills them. He's not like a meathead. He's funny, he's witty, he's pretty intelligent. So to have him as like this bulky kind of, you know, um I'm really glad that they let Robert continue just to go forward with it and just beat Freddy. 7 sequels and became an international phenomenon with a cult-like fan base. I wouldn't be here without the fans. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. And as far as I can see, you guys showed up, and I know you're going to start knocking on doors looking for peanut butter cups and candy corn real soon. But thanks for coming. Um, but this suave Chad motherfucker over here, finally after 4.5 decades, in movies, and his portrayal is Freddy, finally gets a star on the Walk of Fame. And again, like unlike some actors or actresses or whoever, he's one of those people that 10, 20, 30, 100 years from now, people are still going to know who Freddy Krueger is. So this man will continue to live on, kind of like Freddy. Just like Freddy, he'll continue to live on through stories, except he's not going to try to come back. He's not going to try to come back into our world and stuff like that. But it's going to be just like Freddy. He's going to continue to live on. People are going to continue to tell stories about Freddy Krueger, and And even if people didn't know who he was, 20, 30, 40 years from now when they release a new Nightmare on Elm Street, people will look it up and see that Robert Englund was the first Freddy Krueger, and they're like, "Oh wow!" But I mean, good on him, good on him, and everyone who knows the guy, who's met him at conventions, and it says he's like just down to earth and cool, very humble, and um, he's one of those people when they say, don't meet your heroes, he's like one of the exceptions. Usually it's the people who play villains who are always the nicest, but then you meet the people who play the heroes and they're fucking scumbags. So this dude proves that there's an exception to every rule. Down to earth, humble, knows that it wasn't anyone else but the fans who made Freddy as popular as he is. But yeah, Robert Englund finally gets a star on the Walk of Fame after 4.5 decades. So good on him. Favorite memory of Mr. Englund, even though he's not gone, obviously. But I mean, I think most people would say is the first time they saw Freddy. When he did the "This is God," that the way he says it, and it's like, oh god, this is gonna be such an amazing character. It's gonna be such an amazing character, and we were right. He goes on to be such an amazing character. But yeah, memories of Robert Englund, favorite Freddy moment, favorite movie Freddy, or just any other thing that Robert Englund was in, whether it be voice acting or whatever. But yeah, that's gonna do for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.